Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening for those of you dialing in from overseas. Thank you for joining us for our latest in our 2017 webinar series. We're focused today on S/4HANA and Cloud for Planning, enhancing scalability and flexibility for finance transformation. I'm very excited to be joined by our team, whom I will introduce in a few moments. But I'm really excited about this as part of our ongoing series of demonstrating how SAP's digital core strategy is a reality. We will be doing some welcome general housekeeping. I'll introduce the presenters in a moment. And we'll talk about finance transformation introduction from my colleague, Trevor. And then Doug and Will give us a really outstanding demonstration of how Cloud for Finance Planning and S/4HANA integrate together. Reminder that this webinar is being recorded, so if you want to go back and share this with your colleagues, which we encourage you to do, it is being recorded. You can ask questions throughout the session. You can see here with the question bar. So please feel free to go ahead and do that. You can tweet us. We have our lease handle up here, hashtag SAP lease@bin, but we also have hashtag RevRecReady. So feel free, and we'll be coming up with some new ones for you in terms of financial transformation shortly. You can also view our previous webinars, and those include our webinars on finance transformation and S/4HANA. As well as our webinars that are available on finance transformation and leasing. You can do that here, as you can see on the page, by going to our home page and looking at the links at the bottom of the page, or you can come up here and go to our resource library and see that. I am your moderator for this session, as I have been, and I'm excited to have on Trevor Lovegrove. Trevor and I consistently change your title, but you are the head of our cloud practice, as well as IP development. So Trevor has a broad responsibility on our team. Welcome, Trevor. Doug Hammer, with whom we've spoken before. Doug and Will have both presented before. Doug works on our development for the S/4HANA Cloud. Doug has many years of experience in the space of cloud. He did a lot of integration work and has worked with some great clients in the by design space and is one of our experts on S/4HANA Cloud. Will Pence has a long background with SAP. He has expertise in supply chain and brings that talent and focus both to the cloud space, but also from the perspective of not only by design, which we are experts in, but also S/4HANA Cloud. So with that, I am going to execute our first poll. And as I'm doing this poll, I am going to change the presenter here to, supposed to go to you, Trevor.
Okay, hi everyone. It's Trevor Lovegrove.
Hang on, Trevor, you're not presenting yet because I don't have you on my list. So hold on one second. Yeah, you're not, Trevor, you're not logged. You're going to need to log in. You're not logged in.
Yeah.
So with that, while Trevor's logging in, everyone, let's do our quick polls. So if everybody would just let us know, we have a great presentation here, and we can lean this presentation. Yes?
Hey, John, could you send it to Doug? We're having a problem with my login.
All right. So we will change presenter. So everybody, if you can respond real quickly. And we'll make Doug the presenter. So what is your role in the organization? So far we have IT, finance, and other. So Doug will have to have kind of a balanced process here. All right, let's close that poll up. We have one more while we're moving. And we basically very quickly want to know from you, has your company, your organization begun to look at cloud applications? All right, most of you have done that, so that's great news. All right, we'll close that poll down. 92% of you are already looking at cloud applications, and in the audience we have a fair mix between IT, finance, and business. So with that, I will turn this over to Trevor. Trevor?
Okay, everyone. Sorry about the delay. We were having a little problems with logins today. One of those days. So I'm going to just introduce you to digital transformation and financial transformation and talk you through some of the areas that we're going to talk about today. But first of all, let's talk about why you want to do financial transformation. Why do you have to do it? And the bottom line here is for many, many financial organizations which are really responsible for leading this charge, a lot of their time at the moment is spent just keeping the lights on. And this is this graph in front of you just shows, and I think it's a conservative view, where the vast majority of the financial organization's time is spent keeping the lights on. Very little time and energy is left to actually drive business innovation to meet the forward-looking objectives of the organization. And our objective is to drive you to the right of this picture, where the vast amount of your time is actually spent driving the business innovation rather than keeping the lights on. And that means that you have to look at not only your technology that you're using, but also the business processes that you're operating under. So typically what we have right now is a whole bunch of barriers to financial transformation and as I said, moving forward so that you can run your business the way you want to. Here's just 5, and I'm sure you could come up with a lot more out there. Inefficient separation of data between analytics and transactional data. The inability to accurately aggregate that disparate data to make decisions in the organization. Either that or there's an awful lot of manual intervention to normalize data, to build spreadsheets, and to pull all of that lot together. The second part is a lot of the technology right now does not support business transformation. In other words, it becomes a roadblock as opposed to an enabler to business transformation and the companies moving forward. There's usually a high level of dependence on IT for specialized reports or features and functions that you just need to do your business in an ever-evolving world. And because of all of that, there's a high level of loss of productivity and effectiveness. And certainly, as we showed earlier, the domination of where your time goes is in just keeping things going, doing all of the financial closures, doing all of the reports, and just keeping the business running, as opposed to trying looking ahead as to what needs to be done to go forward. Okay, so let's look at what really drives financial transformation in an organization. The first one is to adopt industry-wide best practices. The second, which is what we're going to be focusing our demo on today, is to look at how to predict your business performance ahead of time. In other words, rather than constantly looking at data that tells you what has just happened or is happening, you need to look at your data to determine how you make decisions on what is about to happen or what you can predict will happen. The third element is how you can drive to continuous close. By that I mean how you can make sure that you're constantly making sure that you've got one record of all of your data, is constantly being reconciled so that when you get to that formal closure process, it becomes almost a non-event. You can respond to new and evolving regulations and external environment within your regulatory environment and business environment in which you work. You do need to respond to that very quickly in order to make sure that you minimize the impact on your business of those regulations. And you need to be able to utilize and have access to what I call best fit applications. That doesn't necessarily mean they have to be the best of breed. They don't have to be the best. They just have to do what you need them to do. So we're going to be focusing on the business planning aspect, which is the second line there, which is predicting business performance ahead of time. We'll be showing you a demo later on. But I just wanted to say that they're the 5 arms that we cover, and we've got several webinars that we've run, which can show you how those other ones help your business too. So let's go down to what does that really mean in terms of predicting your business performance ahead of time. First one is enable you to make decisions, enables decision makers to plan for the future now. You already know that competitors are working faster or more effectively. You need to be able to be faster and more effective at making your decisions, to make the right decisions. To do that, you need solid information to make those decisions. That you have a time critical factor. Closure issues can be identified and resolved in real time. You need to have a historic view so that you can trend and do planning analysis. And you need access to business-wide data in order to do accurate and predictive analytics. Okay, let's just look at, let's just step back a bit and look at what the view of the world is now for the Office of the CFO. This is a quote from the Digitalist Flash Briefing, Dynamic Planning and Analysis. And I'll read it fully, and you can get the full recording from the link at the bottom of this screen. But the best quote I saw was, the Office of Finance needs to reconcile its function as it transforms itself from being an organization that reflects on past results to one that is enabled to guide the business into the future. That is the critical and evolving role of the CFO. What we're trying to do is to show you how you get there and then to help you with that journey. Okay, so what are the 4 elements of financial transformation? Very, very quickly, it's all about cloud. Cloud technology allows you to react more quickly, continue to keep up with evolving features and trends in terms of technology and features of functionality. Your data is critical to make sure that you can make decisions, you can input them into your predictive insights, you can build new product strategies, you can make sure that your customer engagement is the best it can be. Mobile, that's the big thing. Everyone is using their phone. How do you get to them if they're customers? How do you help your organization respond quickly, even to the simplest things like just approving things so that you can make sure that your workforce is mobile enabled, and you can basically do anything from anywhere. And then your people. How do you make sure that everyone is fully interconnected, that your organization is communicating effectively, is moving forward in the same way? And also, don't remember that you have an extended team. You have suppliers, you have customers, you have partners. All of these folks are extended family, and therefore should be part of your connectivity strategy. Okay, so let's move on from what the problem is to how we can solve it from a technology perspective. First of all, SAP have at its center of its strategy S/4HANA as part of the digital core. And that platform is providing a series of functions from a financial accounting perspective, and also interconnects with a whole bunch of other related systems. As you can see, connects to workforce engagement, ecosystem collaboration, customer experiences, and asset management. What that allows you to do is it empowers your business users through immediacy. It provides you with intelligence to make sure that you make the right decisions going forward. And you need that integrated solution so that you're all looking at the single source of truth. Okay, so this is how the digital core works. You'll have heard of some of these applications. from SAP already. But in the center of this is you've got the digital core, but that is not by any means the end of the story. The digital core allows us to natively integrate with other cloud applications such as SuccessFactors for HCM, to Ariba and Concur, to SAP Hybris, and also allows two other capabilities. Firstly, whether we like it or not, the world is not all SAP. So some of your critical functions will be provided by third-party services. And through the HANA Cloud Platform or SAP Cloud Platform, you can interconnect the digital core to your third-party systems or services. And in addition to that, and on top of that, you have Analytics Cloud or business objects that allow you to have access to all of that data in your digital core. So you can create dashboards, predictive analytics, and planning tools that allow you to manage your business from a whole enterprise viewpoint. Okay, so we're going to focus in a little bit about what we're going to be talking today, which is Analytics Cloud and Cloud for Planning. So first of all, you probably may or may not have seen some of these graphics, but Analytics Cloud provides you with a great capability to do all of these things. It provides you with the capability of pulling in data from all types of sources, including third-party systems, for you to get all of your data in one place so that you can start to analyze it. Enterprise-grade analytics allows you to slice and dice your data in all sorts of different ways to allow you to just get a big picture and then drill down to the source of the problem. It allows you to plan and simulate. And not only that, and this is a constantly evolving picture, we're now introducing machine learning, which allows you to make more and more intelligent decisions based on analytics built within the engine that the Analytics Cloud will be telling you, so that you can make those critical business decisions quicker and more effectively and with a higher confidence of success. And then finally, let's just introduce you to Cloud Planning. This is a specific application within the Analytics Cloud that allows you to simply plan. You can trust what you're looking at because the data has come from that single source of truth, and you're actually looking at real-time data that your transaction engines are running for you. And it provides you with all of the capabilities you need in order to plan for your business. It allows you to do what-if analytics, workflow management, and driver-based planning. Now, I'm not going to go any further into that because I'm going to leave my colleagues, Doug and Will, to actually show you this product in action. And I'm going to now just hand you over to Doug, who's going to introduce you a little bit more detail about the product and also take you through an actual demo, which shows real live data moving between S/4HANA Cloud and Cloud for Planning. So Doug, over to you.
Thank you, Trevor. Okay, so let's go ahead and move right into this then. Let me go ahead and show up a couple more slides here, and then we'll get started with the actual demo. Okay. So in the demonstration today, we are going to cover the end-to-end process of S/4HANA Public Cloud planning. So we're going to connect this to SAP's Cloud for Planning product. We have received requests from customers to demonstrate how these systems tie together, and specifically how S/4HANA Cloud is updated with the plan data that has been modified and changed in the analytics tool. So we're going to get into that. But first off, I want to just explain that the business object cloud is now called the SAP Cloud Analytics. And it's separated into 4 areas: core capabilities, analytic capabilities, embedding capabilities, and applications. SAP Analytics Cloud for Planning enables you to embed collaboration tools and analytics directly into your financial planning processes. So in our previous webinars, I covered the areas of collaboration, so I'm not going to get into that today. The tool also enables you to have actuals, budget, and forecast numbers available for insights. And I will demonstrate this as well as how to create private versions of the data. So you can play with the numbers before actually committing to anything. And this, this really is truly an amazing tool. There's a lot of capabilities here. It'd probably take me 4 hours to go through and do a demo on all the capabilities. So we're just going to scratch the surface, if you will, on some of the capabilities, but we're going to demonstrate how that data is moved from S/4HANA Cloud into the analytic tool and back. So the let's see here. So the cloud planning capabilities, they are powered by the SAP Cloud Platform. Sitting on top of the cloud platform are the core capabilities, like I said, like modeling, data connectivity, collaboration, your story experience. And then on top of that is the analytic capabilities. So we've got BI, BI includes discovery, charts, and tables. Planning is for business user planning and allocation. There's a value driver tree simulation and planning, so we're going to go through and take a look at that today. Predictive is the smart discovery, explanatory analytic. So here we see these three pillars of this analytics tool, where you've got planning, business intelligence, predictive. Everything is flowing back to business intelligence, where you're getting your insight, you're making your decisions, and you're making actions based on what you're seeing. So you've got the predictive stuff that's going back, you've got planning that's going back. Predictive also feeds into planning. So this is all interconnected. In our demo today, we're going to simulate 3 roles. I have with me today, as Trevor mentioned, Will Pence. And this is a very unique situation because we're all in the same room today for this webinar. So, hi, Will. How you doing, Doug? Good. Glad you're here with us today in the webinar. Will is going to play the role of a financial analyst. And I'm going to play mostly the role of a planner, but I'm also going to highlight the different tasks that a business intelligence person would go through to set up connections and make sure that all this is working from a little bit of a technical side. In today's example, we're going to pull actual and planned data from S/4HANA Public Cloud, updating the cloud in Cloud Analytics, and then we're going to reload it back. So I mentioned that before, but our scenario is that revenue is increasing beyond our plans for the year, and for the holiday season that's coming up, we know that revenue is going to continue to rise. Due to this, we also anticipate our costs are going to rise, and we need to take a look at that and find out exactly where the costs are rising and if our current plan is meeting those needs. We're going to see that, in fact, it's not correct, and we're going to have to make a change and update in mid-year to that plan. As I mentioned, I'll be acting as the planner and the BI person. So Will Pence, he'll be acting as a financial analyst. I will be a planner in charge of the overhead costs, which would include electricity, insurance, office expenses, computer expenses, and we'll be taking a look at those specific costs. And one thing you'll notice is that this solution is completely resolves the need for you to plan, forecast, and have the actual data in Excel spreadsheets. We will see an Excel spreadsheet for an upload into S/4HANA at the end of the process, but all of our plan data and the actual data, this is all coming right from our core ERP system. So let's get started. I'm going to start out in S/4HANA, and it looks like it kind of timed me out here. Let me go back. So inside of S/4HANA, we're going to have these main tiles that need to be reviewed. You're going to need to create some custom CDS views where you take a copy of the journal data. So in our case, I'm actually going to pull in the plan and actuals right from our journal within the core system. And then to make that happen, you have to create a few communication systems, users, arrangements. The most important thing after you create that custom view, which I can take a look at here, is to create that communication arrangement. So when you create this view, what we're doing is selecting all the different fields that we want to send over to the analytics tool. As you can see, you don't need an IT person to do this. And, any BI person can come in here. It's very easy. They can select the different fields they want, and then they can go ahead and set this up and publish it. Once it's been published, then you can create this communication arrangement. And I'm not going through all the details here. There's not a lot. It's not very complicated, but if you have any questions or you're trying to do this on your own and run into any issues, please let us know. On these communication arrangements, the important thing to notice here is that an OData service is created at the end of all this process. And this OData service has a URL that is exposing our data to the analytics tool. So you can see I've got a couple of them here. I've got one for planning. And so this URL here is the one I'm going to be using in the analytics tool. But back in the analytics tool, I'm going to start here, taking a look at the different areas. So we would have to start with creating a connection, which is down here at the bottom here. So we create this connection. We provide the user information that we established in S/4HANA. And then we put that in here. We put the URL in here for the CDS view. Once that's done and our connection is established, then we can go and create a model. Now, what the model does when we create this is it pulls that data, all the data that we selected from S/4HANA that we want to move and make a copy into the cloud analytics tool. So I've got a couple of them here, but if we quickly take a look at, actually what I wanted to do was to show you just briefly the creation of this. So this is going to load up my actual model. So I'm going to come back to something over here and go back into creating this model. We're not going to create the model today, but I wanted to show you that when we create this model, we select this get data from an app, and when we choose the OData services here, from here you select your connection, and then you establish your model, you set up a query. It's all really easy stuff to do, and it doesn't take a lot of time. So once that's established, then you're going to have a model set up, and you're going to have all of your dimensions, all of your key values are going to be listed here. And from the model, we can jump into the story. And the story is where we're going to see the data kind of come alive for us that we had moved into this system. I'm going to go ahead and load up the story I've been working on. I gave this story a name for S/4HANA planning. At first, I want to just give a little bit of a kind of a hands-on experience with the tool and some of its capabilities before I drive into the scenario we've been talking about. As you can see here, I've got I got I got a planning model up here. I've got this this little indicator here that I can change. It's will immediately adjust the values on the rest of this page, so you can interconnect different charts and pieces of data together, so that you can quickly and easily just move to look at specific data you want to see. So in my case, I'm now looking at July through December data. And this has got some operating income time forecast on here, lets us know where we're at. Next thing I want to do is to look at the actual revenue. So this is data that came in, as I mentioned, from S4. I'm looking at the last few quarters, mainly quarter 3, with a month at the beginning and a couple months there, and then a month here for October to see what our actuals are. So I want to point out, this is basically real-time data. Once we set up the model, we can refresh that model as often as we like. Anytime we want to come in here and plan, we'll be able to pull in the latest data. And so this data for October would be actual October data up till now, before I pulled that data in. And we can see that our revenue is definitely increasing. I mean, the month's not even over yet, and we're already beating all of our previous months. And because of this, we did have a meeting in our company as a part of our scenario, and we decided that because revenue is increasing and we need to prepare for the holiday season that's coming up, we're going to start a third shift at our company for increasing production. And increasing the production is going to definitely increase some of the costs that I am over, which would be electricity costs, maybe some personnel costs. So we're gonna take a look at that. There's some questions about, well, how does this plan data work in terms of, you know, the actual stuff that came from S4HANA versus the data I can play around with. So I wanted to show you here that if I go into edit mode on my story right now is a private story, but it could very easily be shared with anybody in my company, and I could also make the story public as well. So when we come in here and I go take a look at this version management, we'll be able to see here that I have my actual data in the actual, and I can make copy of this and rename it to anything I want, anytime I want, and I can create private versions. So these versions here, they're all private, and I can manipulate this data any way I want, and it won't affect the actuals. And once I've established, yes, you know, we want to make some changes to the actual data, then we can go in and modify that in the actual plan. So when I come over here to our 2-year plan, which will be for 2017 and 2018, just loading that 2-year plan up here. So on the 2-year plan, what we're looking at is our profit and all the different items that feed into the profit. And right now I'm actually right now looking at a copy. I want to look at the forecast version 1 that I've been working with. On here, you're going to see there's already been changes made because I had put in percentages here and I ran the simulation. If I make a copy of that and come back into my own area here, you can see that I've kind of been playing around with this a little bit. And we can revert all these changes. We can make new changes. So I can come in here and modify this percentage point right here on the value driver tree. Now, all of these end items are the drivers. They're all the percentages that we're working with. So you can see that I've made a change here. And just to show you how to run the simulation, it's very easy. We can just come over here and run a calculation, which is going to simulate all of our forecasted numbers. You can see that when I made that change from 3% to 4%, it's going to drive increases in revenue across the board here, clear down to our profit, which would increase by a certain percentage point. So I'm trying to do a couple of things here in this demo, show you a little bit about the tool and also discuss the scenario that we've been working on. Inside of here, I've got a cost, these operating expenses. We've got this cost analysis. So this is an input control, similar to what we saw on the other screen where we were modifying the time frame. In this case, we can come in here and drill down to specific areas of cost that we're wanting to look at. And as we make a change to that, it also changes these charts down here. So these are some additional charts that we've got. This chart here is tied to that input control, and it will change as we change that input control. Now, I am particularly interested in electricity. So I'm looking at these electrical costs for 2017. And I have a chart here that's got actual amounts versus planned amounts. And we can see on this chart as we come over here to October that we had planned for 250,000, but we're already at 270,000. So this is data that again came basically real time in from S4HANA, lets us know exactly where we're at as of today. And then we've got these planned marks of 300,000. And then when we come down here to 2018, we can see that we're starting out a plan of 280,000. And I want to just show you another way to look at this. So this is a stack chart with the line for the plan, and this will let you see very easily, where you're at, and again where you need to be. So this I wanted to show this because it's just very easy to pop up different kinds of charts, and I'm basically showing you bar charts, but there's all kinds of different kinds of analytics tools you can use within this product. Now, in this case, I want to go ahead and move over to planning, but before I do that, as I mentioned, we're going to be starting a whole third shift of production. I know for sure our electricity costs are going to be going up way more than they've already started here in October. I think as a planner over this area that probably I need to increase my plan to 350,000 instead of 300,000 for these months. But I'm not really sure what our financial analyst thinks about that. So I'm going to ask Will here what his thoughts are.
Okay, Doug. So like you said, we're seeing increased sales over the holiday months, and the company has decided to add a third shift for production. And I think they've decided to do production on a third shift for at least the next 3 months through January of 2018. And so due to the additional third shift, we know we're going to have a rise in utility and electricity costs for the plant. So I'm suggesting that we raise the planned amount for utility costs to $400,000 for each of those 3 months. That's what we're seeing right now.
Okay, that sounds good. So let's go ahead and make a change to the plan then, and I'll send it back over to you.
Okay, great.
So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the planning that I've got right now for those quarters. And we're going to just kind of take a look at the fourth quarter planned amounts. You can see that right now for November and December, we're at 300,000. And we're at 280,000 for January of 2018. Normally, I'd probably have a copy of this plan where I would have modified it before I talked to the financial analyst, but since he's in the room with me today, I didn't actually have to do that, and I'm trying to save a little bit of time in the demo. So I'm going to go ahead and modify this directly into the actual values at 400,000 for these months. Then we can send them back over to S/4HANA and update our core ERP system. So there's November, December, and January. So I've updated the values, but at this point, I haven't saved it. And as you can see, it highlights, as I make changes, it'll highlight upper division areas that are affected. So I can immediately see how I'm affecting the quarter or the year by making my changes. So I'm going to go ahead. These numbers look good. I've updated this for 400,000. I'm going to go ahead now and save this. And then we'll move it into S/4HANA. So as I move over here, you can see the save button has been enabled for our actual plan. So I'm going to save it. Okay, now I'm ready to send this over. So we're done with the story. I'm going to go ahead and move into moving this over. Now, unfortunately, right before our webinar, this part of the process got corrupted. So I'm going to show you how easy it is, real time, to build this file out. Now, in order to move something into S/4HANA, we need to import the data using a template. And as I showed you here, there are several tiles available for us. One is import financial plan data. Inside of the import financial plan data tile, there is a template download capability right here where I can download this template. So this is a cost center. I've already downloaded the template. I know what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and create that. I believe we have time, right? I think we have time to do this. So I'm going to move forward here with my plan, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. We're good on time, right? Yeah, we're good. So
Yeah, we're good. Keep going.
okay. All right. So I'm going to show you how easy this is. When you come in here to download this data, you'll be able to select the file you want to put it in. I'm just going to throw it in my admin file. You have to select the data that you want, which is over here in our template that I have. So I know I need my category. So I'm going to go ahead and deselect all of this stuff. And again, unfortunately, this part of it got corrupt right before we started working out here. So yes. Actually, I should see. Okay. I might not be able to work through this. There's some other areas. Category, ledger. I'm going to select the ledger. And the general year and period. Cost center, and then currency. So almost got it here. Cost center, and then currency. Okay, so I've got all of these selected here. Now on the cost center, we want to restrict it just to the data that I'm working with. Let me go ahead and put in the other business expenses so that I'm not extracting all of the data that I've uploaded. And then for the year, we also need to look at just the years that we're looking at. So I'm going to filter these years out. So it's really easy. Just click on the filter button here, select the years you want. And then this category is a little interesting on that because I should have a plan area in there. There may be a way, I think I should use this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and export this file. It says it was done successfully. We'll go ahead and take a look at that file here in my folder. Got it here. This downloads a CSV file. When I open it up in Excel, it's not going to be in exactly the same format that we need. In fact, it's not working. Oh, there was an extra step I needed to do, which is to change only the IDs for those items. So let me go back in here real quick. Huh?
I can show them what the file will look like.
Okay. All right, so I did this previously right before the demo. So at this point, we are running out of time. So I'm going to go ahead and have Will show you the file that we had downloaded. The only issue is that inside the tool, you can select whether or not you're going to export the ID and the description. And that's what happened in this case. So if I went ahead and removed all of the IDs or the descriptions, whichever applies, then I would be able to put that into this file and download it. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Will.
Okay. Thanks, Doug. John, if you could give me presenter rights real quick, I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right, thank you. Okay, so Doug, as a planner, has gone through the Cloud for Planning tool. He's downloaded the file after all the planning changes that he made, in this case for the 3 months. So what you're looking at now is the S/4HANA public cloud system. And we're looking at the P&L plan actual report. So you can see right now, before the changes, for electricity and utilities, we have our planned amounts. And you can see for November and December, we have $300,000 and $280,000 for January. These were the original amounts before Doug made the changes in the Cloud for Planning system. So what we want to do now is we're going to upload the new plan. So I've got another session open here, and we're going to go into import financial plan data. So when we do this, it's going to ask us for the source file. So I'm just going to browse on the file, and this is the actual file that Doug has actually gave me earlier, the updated plan. And when we enter it, we can see that it's going to cancel the 96 existing plan items and recreate the 96 plan items. Okay, so what it's doing is there's 24 months times 4 for each of the GL codes in the plan. So we can even see the details of these new plan items before we actually import the source file. So if I click on Show Details, this is all the records, and you can see there's 96 of them that are in the file. Okay, and we're going to see once we import this file, we should see the changes to the 3 months that Doug has made earlier. So we're going to go ahead and click on Import Source File, and you can see at the top the plan data has been imported successfully. It was pretty quick. So we're going to go back to our P&L plan actual report, and what we're going to do now is we're just going to refresh this report, and we should see the changes for the 3 months that were done in the Cloud for Planning tool. Okay, so here's our refresh report, and if I scroll over now, you can see now for November and December and January, we have the new planned amounts of $400,000 each. And so now anyone could go in that has access to the plan actual report, the P&L report in the S/4HANA Cloud system, and they could run as many type of reports as they want for a whole bunch of different types of measures and characteristics. Okay, so as you can see, this is a really great process. Using the S/4HANA Cloud for Planning tool, it's a one-stop shop for all the planners to go in, do the what-if analysis, make their changes to the plan, and then and someone just needs to go in once that plan is finalized. They can go in, download the file, and then have one person go into the S/4HANA Cloud system and upload it, like I just showed you just now. And then you have access to run the reports and see. You can run this against various other measures as well. So it's a great tool and should help your company with that financial transformation, as Trevor explained earlier. And with that, I'd like to hand it back over to Trevor.
Okay, everyone. So we're just going to finalize a final part of our webinar today and just talk you through some of the final steps, and also just touch on how we can help your business through this journey to financial transformation and ultimately a successful future. So the first thing I want to show is, well, what did we see today? Well, today you saw this picture earlier. This is a full picture, but today you actually saw the analytics cloud here interworking with the digital core. And as you saw from Doug's demonstration, he showed you how you can not just pull in financial data. If you had any other data that you needed as part of your planning process, you could pull that in too. So really, anything that you can use from an enterprise perspective, you can put inside your digital core, and therefore you can make it accessible to your analytics and your planning process. So what about Bramasol, and how can we help you? First of all, from an organizational perspective, we do have an incredible amount of industry knowledge from all across the range of professional services or sports and entertainment, telco, and e-commerce. We do have also equally significant, deep delivery experience in business transformation, not just in cloud, but in all sorts of technologies. We understand the challenges that it takes to move from where you are now to where you want to be. And we also have, on top of that, about 30 plus years of combined cloud implementation experience. That's very significant because cloud is a transformational technology, and you need to understand how to exploit it, and Bramasol does. From a functional perspective, we have developed a standard program management methodology to help us deliver this financial transformation capability. We have financial and business operations experience who will provide expertise in understanding what the best practices are for your particular industry. And in addition to that, despite a few hiccups with the technology, Doug has demonstrated his analytics and integration experience. So, we have all of the capabilities to help you with that journey. And so let's talk about some of the value accelerator services that we provide. First of all, we help you understand the best practices for your industry. How does that work within the platform? Help you with platform configuration and native integration, and also making sure that your users both understand what we've delivered and make sure that it's delivered what we expect it to do. We will guide you through our 5-step data migration process, taking all of that data that you've got in your legacy systems and build a landscape that allows you to move that data to your new environment. And where necessary, especially in the financial world, help you understand what you need to archive for historic and purposes and audit purposes going forward. Change management, and by that I mean organizational change management, will help you understand how you can transform your organization from one that looks at data, again, that's looking back into the past, to how you start to look at it going forward, how you manage your environment so you can constantly be looking forward. Some of the extensibility activities around S4 allows you to do some localization. You can create standard forms that you use in your organization. You can expand some of the fields in some of the forms so that you can actually inject some custom work that you require. And we can also extend embedded analytics. For the next aspect of it, from a side-by-side extensibility perspective, We can build integrations to your third-party system. We can extend the core processes to make sure that your automation is truly end-to-end. And we can also integrate with new standalone applications. We've talked about regulatory changes earlier. Let's talk about leasing. If you have a deep leasing requirement, we can help you provide a total leasing solution as well. And then finally, analytics. We can help you.
Go ahead and finish, Trevor.
Stop. I don't know what Will did. He pressed his phone and the alarm stopped. So, okay. Finally, we can help you define the analytics you require in order to provide effective executive tools. We can help you with predictive analytics to help build those out. We can also help you look at what you've already got in terms of data and help you refine business planning processes. And just one more technical issue. We've just shown the integration with S/4HANA Cloud, but in fact, this tool has the capability of pulling data from basically anywhere. Any of the systems that you have out there, we can input them, including your ubiquitous Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so just to summarize, what have we got? We provide a whole bunch of services, including advisory services. We have functional expertise, analytics expertise. We can provide integration services. We can help you personalize your solution to optimize efficiency. And we have, obviously, full-bore delivery expertise. So to that end, what's next for you and for us? Well, first of all, this webinar is just one in a many series of webinars we run every month. We try and bring some interesting topics to you. But if there's something on this list here that you're not seeing that you would like to see, please contact us, and we're happy to review that and maybe create a special one for our series based on what you believe is important to you and your business. In addition to that, we also have a series of ebooks that you can go to on our resource center or on our website. You can see the link below. And so, you can have access to any of the resources that we have available to us. And certainly, if you have any questions or concerns, or you want to follow up with us on anything specific that you have not either seen here or you would like to see, please contact us, and we'll happily get back to you and start a conversation. Okay, well, I'd like to draw an end to today and hand back to John for final wrap-up. Thank you again for Doug and Will for working through this webinar. And thank you again for listening.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, team. As we wrap up, I'm just going to run one quick last poll. So for those of you who are hanging on there, and I appreciate that, if you can just let us know what the goals of your implementation for cloud are, that would be terrific. And then also, as everybody is voting, to thank everybody, to let you know that you can find us, obviously, on our website at bramasol.com. Facebook, you can see we're there doing an Ask the Experts exchange. There's Trevor in the booth. So you'll find us at many different events. We've been to over a dozen or so events. And of course, you can link in. And we ask all of you, please link in with us. We'd love to have you on. We do a bunch of conversations. So with that, as we wrap up the poll, closing up the poll, 38% of you wanted to use this cloud implementations to improve scalability, 13% flexibility. All of you, or 50% of folks, wanted to improve scalability, reduce cost, improve flexibility, and allow to focus on core business. So with that, I thank Trevor and the team. I thank all of you for listening in, and I look forward to seeing everybody on our next webinar. A quick reminder for those, we have a webinar on Tuesday where we'll be focusing on leasing accounting, talking about the disclosures and the reporting for lease accounting, and doing a quick demo of the SAP SLAN, the SAP Lease Administration by Nikisa tool, so that you can see the latest and greatest features there. And then on Thursday of next week, November 2nd, Pete Graham, myself, and some other people will be talking about some of the things that we've been seeing in the world of revenue recognition. So please join us and join us for our upcoming webinars in November and December. Hope you have a great day. And again, thank you everybody for joining us. Bye-bye.